We have Amelia and Anna Hoyles.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you so much for having us here. In this presentation, we will explore the connection between UNESCO and tourism and international relations, and the opportunities this allows to connect the world. It is terrific news that Bagan has been inscribed onto the UNESCO World Heritage List after more than 20 years of work by the Myanmar government.
This UNESCO status means that conservation and preservation of the site will remain an absolute priority. The Buddhist art and culture of the Bagan civilization will be protected for future generations to experience. This is important because, as Mark Twain said, travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness.
There are 1,121 properties on the UNESCO World Heritage List. With so many sites, there is clear data linking a site getting inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, an increase in tourism, and economic benefits to the country. Since the travel boycott on tourism to Myanmar was lifted, it has been suggested that tourism is now directly benefiting local economies rather than military officials.
As tourists, like yours truly, come to experience the rich history and culture of the UNESCO site, they also boost the economy, as it is the local people who transport, provide food and accommodation, and sell their wares to tourists. But in some cases, tourism may be impacted by conflict in the region, and we see this in Syria and Iran.
Tourism in the ancient cities of Aleppo and Damascus has been almost impossible since the crisis in Syria broke out in 2011. The sites themselves have been tragically damaged in the conflict. In Iran, intergovernmental conflict has negatively impacted tourism, especially in recent years.
International tourists, particularly from the US, have more complicated visa processes, whilst domestic tourists have become conservative with spending as inflation has reached more than 40%. The historic city of Yazd saw a decline of 75% in foreign tourism in 2018, just a year after its inscription onto the UNESCO list.
Let's look now at Myanmar and consider conflict and tourism there. The current conflict between the Myanmar government and the Rohingya population of the Rakhine state is a big topic in international conversation. According to the UNHCR, over 1 million Rohingya refugees have fled violence in Myanmar in successive waves of displacement since the early 1990s.
The UN reports a number of examples of Myanmar government policies that put the Rohingya population at risk, including the Clean and Beautiful Nation military operation of 1991 that drove Rohingya people from their homes and into Bangladesh and saw the destruction of Rohingya homes, religious buildings and culture.
There is a stark contrast between the focus on conservation of the Buddhist temples in Bagan and the documented destruction of other cultural sites belonging to the Rohingya population. The ongoing destruction of Rohingya communities has meant that the Rohingya people have few, if any, homes to return to now, even if policies change to allow their return.
In 1982, Myanmar enacted a citizenship law which deprives the Rohingya population of citizenship in Myanmar. Under this law, full citizenship is primarily based on membership of the national races, who were defined by the state to have settled in Myanmar prior to 1824.
The UN has stated that this violates Article 15 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which states no one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality. It also contravenes Myanmar's obligations to prevent statelessness, including as a party to the Convention on the Rights of the Child, which obliges the registration of children at birth and their acquisition of a nationality.
In March 2017, the UN Human Rights Council arranged a fact-finding mission to establish the realities and circumstances of the alleged recent human rights violations by military and security forces in Myanmar. In 2019, the fact-finding mission made 71 recommendations specifically to the government of Myanmar.
The 12th recommendation was to suspend the citizenship verification process based on the 1982 citizenship law, acknowledge the arbitrary deprivation of nationality of the Rohingya community, and restore their citizenship rights through a speedy administrative process developed through meaningful consultation with the Rohingya community.
There are already examples of UNESCO World Heritage being used on the world stage for leverage in international relations. While it's possible to criticise this political nature of the UNESCO World Heritage, it could also be seen as an opportunity to use this leverage for a positive human rights impact in Myanmar in line with the UN recommendations.
The strength of UNESCO is its ability to unlock countries to the world through an international camaraderie around sustainability, history and culture belonging to the whole world. There is the hope that Myanmar's ability to change their heritage policies in Bagan may be the starting point for further policy change to align with other UN recommendations, particularly in regards to the Rohingya population. Thank you.